Now let's talk about the second principle of object-oriented programming, abstraction. Abstraction means we should reduce complexity by hiding unnecessary details in our classes. Unfortunately, this is one of the most misunderstood concepts in object-oriented programming. A lot of people don't know what abstraction is all about. So let me give you a metaphor. Think of the remote control of your TV. This remote control has a bunch of buttons that allow you to work with this TV, right? Inside this remote control, we have an electronic board, a bunch of transistors, and so on. Now, here's the thing. We don't directly work with these transistors. These are the implementation detail. There is so much complexity there. We don't really understand that, and we don't want to understand that. All we want to do is to change the channel of our TV. We don't care what happens under the hood. We don't care what states these transistors go in. This is abstraction in action. So with abstraction, we want to hide the implementation detail of a class and treat it like a black box. We don't care what's inside. We just have a simple interface to work with, just like the buttons on a remote control. Now back to our code. In the last lecture, we made these fields private because these fields are like the transistors inside a remote control. We don't want to directly work with these fields. They're implementation detail. Tomorrow, we may decide to change how we store data inside an employee object. Currently, we are using two integers. What if tomorrow we decide to replace these two integers with an array? If we make that change, all the other classes that are using this employee class have to be updated. So we want to hide the implementation detail and expose a bunch of methods for others to use. For example, we have this setter and getter here to work with the base salary field. Now here we have a one-to-one relationship between the underlying field and this getter and setter. But in more complex applications, we are not necessarily going to expose a getter and a setter for every field. For example, we might have a TV object. We simply call the setChannel method, and this method will internally set a few different fields. We don't know what fields are set to what values. We don't care. All we want is to change the channel of our TV. So remember the abstraction principle of object-oriented programming. Abstraction says we should reduce complexity by hiding unnecessary details. But there's more to abstraction. It has another benefit, and that's what we're going to look at next.